Alright, our opponent is the crafty Psylocke. Is it Psylocke or Psylocke? We don't know. This is a fun new deck. I wanted to try and take advantage of the doubling aspect of the designers of what they've been putting into this game over the last few expansions. And it takes an interesting spin when you leave green, because green is straight up doubling everything all the time. And that's not what black does necessarily. Black likes to sometimes double life loss, and then the way that it tells it though is it does it in halves. So that's what we're going to try and set up here. Let's see, they've got 3 of those. I guess we start with Enduring Tenacity, because if they kill it, it'll come back as an enchantment. This is like good news to start with. And they're blinking the Angel. Interesting choices. We go ahead and we attack. They tapped out. They can kill it if they want, or they can just chump block. There's a lot of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards that people are playing around with. And this is not an enchantment saga, it's an enchantment class. So permanent value here. And I don't really have anything in this deck to get rid of enchantments. That's nicely done. I think we're going to try and press our luck here. I'm going to swing in and try and get rid of the 4 points they just got. Get them back down to 20. That's kind of gross. They attacked with the 0-4, so I guess we'll kill the 0-4 while we're here. $31. Alright, I think we just do this. We've got Bloodletter of Aclazotz out. If your opponent would lose life, they lose twice as much. Well, here we can make them lose half their life. We've got 5. We can also make... No, can we do that? That's 6. Yeah, we can make them sacrifice their stuff, too. So they can get rid of, what, 4 creatures? They can just get rid of the 4 tapped ones if they want to. Still have 3 blockers. All of which have lifelink. Maybe I should have just made them lose half their life and just done that. Here. Gotta give them a good game right now. Boom. So, kind of unnecessary to make them sacrifice their creatures. I'm just so used to maximizing my energy use and maximizing that spell. And the nice thing is we had another way to kill them if they somehow had some emergency way of more life gain. So the deck is called Half Twice. Welcome everybody to Tpull's Corner. This is Travis, and I've done some of this stuff before. I've done some of these cards. There are some very obvious combinations. We've got the never-ending combo, the infinite combo of life gain plus life loss with the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain life. And then we've got a couple of other cards in here, like 3 of the Starship Clerics, that whenever you gain life, the opponent loses life. So Gains life here, loses it there. Automatically triggers the Conqueror, which gains life. Every time the Conqueror gains life, it triggers the opponent to lose life again. You create that circle. A lot of times the opponent, the enemy, does not have a way to short circuit that circuit. We've got a couple of other nice things in here. Let me just go down this way. You've got the offspring cost, so you can pay for 5 mana. You can get 2 of these creatures out. Getting a lot of life gain and life loss there. We've got the Tithing Blade. That's in there for a specific reason for removal, because you don't just make them sacrifice a creature, but you can craft this with another creature, since this is from Ixalan. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, so that in itself will sort of set things off on a chain sometimes. We've got Timeline Color. This you can bring in for the warp cost if you want, but you do have to pay 2 life to do it. But the key thing is you want to save the warp cost to work with Alpha Rael Stone Chosen. Also from the Edge of Eternity's expansion is a 3/3 legendary human cleric. It got ward, so if they want to target this creature, they have to discard a card at random. But he's got the Void ability. Whenever Alpha Rael attacks, if an online permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn, defending player loses half their life rounded up. So if the opponent had any way to save themselves at that first round just now, we could have attacked with Alpha Rael because, and this is kind of the backup reason, like I didn't see a way for them to do it, but because the opponent sacrificed half their creatures, that means that something left the battlefield, right? A non-land permanent left the battlefield. So if they did somehow have some kind of trick, I could just attack with Alpha Rael alone, and the opponent would automatically lose half their life again. And this would trigger before you got to the first strike angel. So that's a nice kind of thing. But one timeline color, so that if they don't have anything to get this out of your graveyard, it'll just sort of stay in exile the whole time. And when you're ready, you have this legendary cleric on the battlefield. When he attacks, just before that, you could go ahead and pay the warp and use the warp in case you can't kill one of them. So just a little, way to warp a spell and activate this doubling of their life loss. Come Back Wrong. Destroy target creature. If cards put into a graveyard this way, return it to the battlefield under your control. You do have to sacrifice at the beginning of your next instep. It's nice if you can take something of theirs that has an enter into the battlefield effect, or maybe its own death trigger, or if you're facing red, if it can duplicate a haste. Otherwise, you can't do much with the creature. Marauding Blight Priest. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So that's just like this. Whenever you gain life, you lose the life. This one's from the Foundations expansion. An old card brought back, and it also triggers the infinite life gain, life loss circuit with Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Of course, you can't do one of these decks without the Unstoppable Slasher from Duskmourn, 2/3 Death's Touch. Whenever it deals damage to the player, they lose half their life. This is the most common creature that's paired with Bloodletter of Alkazatz, which is the Flying Vampire Demon. If an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. So if you get a turn 3 Slasher and a turn 4 Bloodletter, and you manage to hit with the Slasher, then you just basically won the game, because they're going to lose half their life, and then Bloodletter's going to make them lose half their life again. To help us out also, we do have 1 Karsi Revenant from Tarkir, Flying Death Touch and Lifelink, 3/3. If it goes into the graveyard, you can spend 3 more and give something else Flying Death Touch and Lifelink. It's great to give that to the Slasher and get a little bit of evasion because the Slasher is almost always blocked. Rush of Dread, nice little card. This was a spree card from Thunder Junction, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We're looking at the bottom choice there. Target opponent loses half their life rounded up. It takes a total of 5 mana to do that. But again, if you have Bloodletter out, that means instant death, as you saw in the first match. In the meantime, Enduring Tenacity. I only have 3 copies in here of this. I was just trying to get the mix rate. You see, I still have 61 cards. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Again, that's going to combine with Bloodthirsty Conqueror. When they lose life, you gain life. Then as soon as you gain that life, the opponent's going to lose that life, and you trigger that circuit again. So it's kind of like half of it is kind of Slasher Akhlazot's kind of combo type thing going on. Half of it's a Bloodthirsty Conqueror combo with these other cards helping out. We also have one copy of Akhlazot's Deepest Betrayal. So we've got Akhlazot's itself in here. 4/4 flying lifelink, make them discard a card. If they can't discard a card, we get to draw a card. And if what they're going to discard is going to turn out to be a land card, it also gives us a black creature token with flying. And then when this thing dies, it just turns back into a land. If they or you have one of your cards in hand, we can pay 3 and transform it back into the flying bat. But it'll transform back. It'll be tapped on the battlefield. So you can't be near death when you do that, but hopefully you have enough time. For our lands, we've got 2 of the Hidden Necropolis, so we can discover 4. We've got 1 Demolition Field to get rid of their specialty lands. I've got 1 Realm of Ko so that we can create these 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens, just for the fun of it. And I've got Midgar, City of Mako, so that we can't sacrifice an artifact or creature. And the places we'd most be looking like to do that, we'd sacrifice these creatures we create from Realm of Ko, or if we have somebody that came back wrong and we happen to have this card, we could sacrifice them and sort of make their sacrifice mean something, get a couple of card draws out of it. Now the problem with this is they almost always give this to you up front before you have any of your board set up and you need the land, so it's wasted most of the time. But, you know, every now and then it comes in very useful. So I did put in 1 extra land, 25 lands, because we're getting a little expensive, 3.5 for the average mana cost. 24 creatures, so it is mostly a creature deck, and we're just trying to get one of those creature combos out. And so I call it half twice because sometimes the opponent's losing half their life, sometimes the opponent's losing twice as much, that kind of stuff. If we don't get them one way, we should be able to get them the other way. So it's a fun little deck just because you're not just one trick pony necessarily, but it feels like they're all kind of related one after the other. And I guess if I really wanted to try and put more of a theme in there, I'd figure out something else to do with green and put doubling season in there and maybe do something with counters too, but I already hit 60 cards, so I feel like I've done enough. Crystal Barricade. We've got a slasher on curve. He's going to deal damage. Fountain Port is a good card for them to have because they can create these 1/1 blue fish chump blockers all the time. Already killing their own creature. This is kind of good for us, I think, because we can put down Bloodletter now. If they have another split up, they've got to decide which one they're going to kill. They couldn't kill both that way. If they have nothing better, they're going to take out an Necropolis with their Demolition Field. Don't really mind that. There's entire matches where I'll never use those. Sometimes the tempo of the battle goes by and there's just no extra time to do that. Let's see. I think let's go ahead and get rid of the Fountain Port now. We're thinning out our decks and getting rid of all the extra lands, right? Hopefully we'll be able to draw some good stuff. Now if they have another split up, I'm going to be in trouble, right? But I am going to go ahead and hit them now. That takes out 4 instead of 2. The Vampire Demon, his ability works with itself. So the 2 points that he does, they lose twice the 2. And this is going to be a board wipeaholic deck, I guess. That's all they're going to do. 6. I wonder if I can hold on to that for a while. We've got creatures, let's use them. See if we can burn through all of their board wipes. They've got white and black, so they might have multiple board wipes in other colors. And you see they've also got Restless Fortress there. They are not missing a land drop, are they? Got another Fountain Port already. So board-wise plus a Planeswalker, that is tough to take care of.
I am the master. Don't speak ill of the undead.
I wonder if they have any creatures at all. Sometimes they don't. They just rely on Restless Fortress and the Planeswalkers themselves. There's the black board wipe. They kind of got lucky, I feel like, unless this is literally the only thing that their deck consists of. And if so, maybe we can't beat them. They are going to exile that sucker, aren't they? Yeah, they got rid of all of those. And they now know what we have.
Ah, time to get my hands dirty.
Alright, we'll make them get rid of that zombie.
You get used
And
to
we
the
will
smell.
transform this now. We'll see if they have anything to get rid of enchantments. We'll just get rid of that creature, I guess. And now at least they'll lose, you know, 1 life a turn, but we still have to worry about this Planeswalker. Ah, there we go. That's a problem.
I do quite enjoy necromancy.
I think they got us. They just got everything at just the right time, really. I can't stop the menace part. And it's got indestructible, so it works in really nicely with the regular board wipes. And they have single removal too. So now they could do another split up if they had it. They don't want to make a sacrifice, because they would have to sacrifice Ketramos. That's one good way to get rid of Ketramos.
Yours will be a fate worse than undeath.
Surprised they didn't use Restless Fortress at all. Oh, they're taking all of my stuff now. Alright, let's use all of this. 1, 2, 3. Lose your creatures, lose your cards, lose your life. They'll just get rid of their zombies. That actually allows them to draw cards, right? Down to 9 for their life.
This is more enjoyable. Necromancy is a lot like plucking turnips.
There goes my slasher with my card. See, and they actually had more board wipes. It's really difficult to defeat this deck, actually, unless you have like some sort of counterspell stuff going on. You can say they got single removal. There's 2 more board wipes, plus those 3. So they might have had like 16 board wipes plus additional removal. And if I had a way to exile this, we might still have a chance. But Timeline Color is not going to help much against Authority of Consuls. Ah, this will stop them from gaining life. We can put this puppy in. They can't gain the life. And we got another slasher coming up. With all of this, I feel like they can still kill us anytime they want. Bringing this back won't help now since they got Authority of the Consuls out. It's like they're slowly getting each card, they have like a one-off of each or something? You know, they had an outrageous robbery. They used to take our cards that helped them. Now they have a 1 copy of Authority of the Consuls. I wonder if they have multiples of those or not. I don't know why they were afraid of Timeline Color.
The decay.
Why are these face down to me? Oh, those are these ones over here. I don't get to see them. That's why. They're not gaining life,
No
at least.
way but my way.
I'm gaining life back. We can afford to pay for all that. Doesn't matter if they come in tapped, we're still not going to lose life. I guess we go ahead and use this while we got it. Just get another land, that's fine. If they ever use Restless Fortress, I think we're dead.
Do not despair. Together.
You've reached an...
No, never mind.
Blessing.
Wait, I'm still... Oh, no, there we go. Okay. They kind of died using my own creatures. Except, didn't they just bring that down now? How did they get to activate that in the same turn they brought that down? Did I miss something? I may have to watch that back. I thought they just played the Planeswalker. Oh, no, they have enough already. Yeah, they can activate it once. I was thinking they had to plus up to get enough to activate that, but no, they can just activate that ability as soon as they bring that particular Planeswalker down. So multiple Planeswalkers and mostly board wipes. And suspiciously getting exactly what they needed to defeat us every single turn. I don't know if it's worth trying to hold on to Midgar. As I said, that comes up in your opening hand a lot because it's a special land, non-basic. Since we do have 2 Tithing Blades, I'll go ahead and get rid of the first Valkyrie. Another one of those really cheap ones that can get really big through the tribal synergies. Something that's all too common these days in Magic the Gathering. They can't seem to help themselves. They have to do that with every single creature type that exists. Can't really hold on to that. It's got to come down now. Or wait, let's see. If I... No, I need 3. I would need 3 to sacrifice Tithing Blade. We're just going to kill this puppy. I don't want to let them investigate if I can help it. And now we get into the expensive part of the deck. I already have 4 uncastable cards. Here we go. Okay. What do they need for that? Whenever they gain life. Okay. Oh look, they're gaining life with the removal. Would have preferred to get land, but we'll see if they have another exile spell. We've already seen their overall strategy. This is basically it. I would expect them to have more and more enchantments. I'm willing to make that trade, but they might have something that gives this protection. They usually do. Nope, just another attack spell. Okay. We did keep from getting hit. That's a little something. And, okay, Magic's going to do this to us again and again. Give us the most expensive spells in everything and land starve us when the opponent gets 5. This deck doesn't need more than 5, really, right? They can trigger this for 4 for the hospital room. Or for, yeah. And 2 for surgical suite. Yeah, come on through, I guess. I mean, we only won the first match. It's kind of bad for them to be land starving us already when I put 1 extra life in there. But, oh, and of course, time for the on-curve perfect mythic rare kind of thing going on there. I guess we go ahead and give this Death Touch. This can't block. If they're willing to attack with Exemplar of Light, I can trade there. But I really need 1 more removal for the Dawnbringer now. And I think we're toast. These are handy to go against life gain, but you really needed them a little bit earlier. They should put that on Dawnbringer. Put me down to 4. And they can cast almost anything in their deck, basically, already. And we were land starved just enough that we couldn't stop any of that life gain. It wouldn't really matter if we could get removal in time, but no. Nope. That's good. To be fair, I'm not using a lot of removal. Why? Because it's a theme deck. But we got our chore done for the day. We got a new pack for the turtles. We leveled up. Woohoo! Making slow progress every single day. Since they've made us lose twice already, they shouldn't be taking this long to find another person to battle. That's very suspicious. When I say they make me lose, I'm kind of serious. Because, for example, Power Dragon, if you've never watched Power Dragon, I'm going to give a shout out. I might try and link the actual interview in the YouTube text below. But Power Dragon's been around for quite a few years. If you do have the bandwidth to check out his channel from time to time, I would recommend it. But he was able to get somebody from an official from Wizards of the Coast to run an interview who helps to basically run Arena Online. And he was trying to address some of the conspiracy theory type questions that people like us always have about how the game works. How the matchmaking is done, how the winning and losing is done. And the guy in charge of Arena kind of lied by omission, because when the question was brought up about what kind of stuff is going on, it's going to be... I keep expecting removals or counterspells because they've already got blue in there. They've got 3 colors already, or 4. 4-color deck? But he started talking about how you have a matchmaking rank, and they use the rank to sort of put you up against a particular opponent, roughly the same level, right? And if you go on a win streak and you win 5 in a row, it's going to give you a higher rank and it's going to match you against opponents that have a higher score, so hopefully they can play against you better. And that's fine as far as that goes, if that was the end-all be-all of the story. But we learned a long time ago that when you're in Brawl, your commander has a point value. And everybody basically has a point value, and these guys are going to die anyway, because I can just bring this back now. So we hit them, we made them lose half of their life, they're tapped out. Oh, they can get life back though, right? Alright. They are still alive. And I've got some expensive stuff here. On curve mythic rare, of course. Oh look, a way for them to gain more life. And I missed my land drop. So he's saying that they don't really have this set up where you're automatically sort of land starved in order to steer you towards a 50% win-loss ratio. I don't believe him, because I've been playing online for about 5 or 6 years, and that's not been my experience. In here, they have land ramp, they're not missing their land drops anyway. The opponent's got 8 lands out already, and more here. And we just need 1, and it takes us that long to get it, and that might be too long. Or they just have a way to... They just conveniently have a way to get rid of enchantments when nobody else did so far. Oh, look at that! They've got a way to destroy enchantments. Out of an extra 83 cards in the deck still, from an oversized deck, they had the answer, and it was just there. It was just there waiting. And look, there comes the lifelink. There comes the lifelink, and they take us out. This is the problem with the answer of the official when he tries to say there's no gearing of things against you, that there's no engineering besides the matchmaking rank. there's such a thing as mirror matches where you end up against the exact same deck list. There's things where you end up very quickly after you make your deck, very soon after, you end up in a match against your kryptonite. So our deck is designed to get their health total down really fast, and you just saw them pit against us a spell that they drew that exchanges life totals. That's our kryptonite. That's one of the big things that this deck would lose to. As well as you see, we're having trouble drawing to 5 lands, and nobody else is that we've gone up against in the entire series, the entire uncut, unedited series of battles so far. And you just do start to wonder after 5 years in a row of not drawing your land, and the opponents always do. And when I say always, I don't mean to be 100%. Okay, but it's probably about 80% to 20%. I have seen the opponents get land starved on from time to time. It has happened. Nobody has haste. Do I bother to kill that? I feel like I should wait for something bigger. Three colors already. Sacrifice for the treasure. It's been a while since they put me up against the Sephiroth deck, but you notice life gain again. This deck, Arena analyzes your deck. You don't just have a matchmaking rank, you have artificial intelligence that studies your deck, that gives every card in here... Oh, never mind. It didn't like that little combination there. If they'd had removal in hand, they would have hung out. So obviously they didn't. They just didn't have removal. They probably have plenty of removal in the deck. They just didn't have it. But so I think we already lost like 3 times already. That's only our second win, right? So we got some climbing to do. So the commander in Brawl has a designated point value, and you're put into a kind of tiered level of what other commanders you will face. And some are obviously like overpowered, and if you put in a fun commander, you might not face that because your score of your deck isn't high enough. But there are point values associated with each of these other cards. Not only that, but Arena is able to analyze what your deck is made of and what its strategy is. And Arena will go out and find... There may be one card in all of like 7 expansions currently out that just utterly destroys your deck. And Arena will find, even though you haven't come across that card, in 6 months... What? Oh, they gave us 5 lands in a row? No way! Well, Bloodthirsty's in the name. I gotta put him out. They're just waiting, so of course we expect instant removal. That can also get rid of enchantments. They don't really need to worry about me bringing that back, but it's fine. Let's try Alpha Royale. Just because if they don't want to lose a card, they might not want to do single point of removal. They might want to save that. This, I don't mind if this draws me more land. They lost a coin flip, right? And they go for card draw right away. So they're digging because they don't like that card. Enduring Tenacity is a card I will accept. But if they bring down a creature, I can get rid of it, and that triggers this for them that I can attack, and they'll lose half their life. If they put down something to block, and I can get rid of it. So this is thinking just one step ahead. Just one turn ahead. But they've got 6 cards and they've already got 6 lands. They have not missed a land drop either. Sing along if that sounds familiar. Oh, that's too bad. Attack! Lose half your life. Go down to 6. Split up won't help you. It'll have to be a full board wipe. And of course they go, oh, it's exile too. Alright, let's try and keep the pressure on. I'm gambling they don't have another get lost. The exile is good against us because we can't craft with another creature right now. So they're not out of the game yet. What is this? Teenage Mutant Ninja Weathermaker! Oh, not Landfall again. 4, 5, 6. If we do 4, 5, 6, lose half your life, lose the creature. Down to 3.
Edge's technology.
At least they get to reveal the artifact card.
Strange metals answer to me.
Why are they... Really? Out of all the cards you would go get, I would not expect Fountain Port
This technology is advanced
to be the card you would look for. We're going to pay the offspring cost for this. They're going to need another board wipe. I'll take another Alpha Royale, that's fine. We're going to keep these, because really, if they kill one... They need to kill one for sure, right? What are the odds? Their top 20 cards. They have another board wipe. Ugin! It's been a minute since I saw Ugin. So a couple of Mythic Rare Planeswalkers, one after the other, to stop us.
Clarity at the center of
That seems fair.
every storm.
They get their life gain.
My plan bears fruit.
Okay. You can't kill this, right? Right?
Make yourself useful.
Another Tezzeret. They got it.
Preparation yields.
Soon, this system will be mine.
And it's all exiles, so I can't trigger the life gain off of that card.
This will suffice.
I don't have
for
any
now.
creatures in the graveyard. They just magically drew exactly what they needed every single turn, every single second. I can keep that. I can keep that. They're just going to exile this, right? And do more life gain. So they've got guaranteed life gain
your
every single
mind
turn.
To possibility.
And ways to exile my permanents every single turn. All they need is to keep playing stuff like Fountain Port Bell. They play another Ugin. They're just showing off now. That's like they could have drawn a card first, right? Or did they do that while I was talking?
One step in the stratagem. My timeless wisdom guides your hand. The wise heed my advice.
They're just keeping this in reserve. I don't see of a way for us to win this now. What do they do with... This is a card I'm not familiar with the Weathermaker yet. Oh, now the game chooses to freeze. Three damage to any target. Okay, 5, 6, 7. Well, they don't have any creatures, so we can just make them discard and lose half their life. I'm not sure if this is really the best way to go about it, but they can just exile any creature I put down, so... They protect themselves from the spell. They just had everything they needed, didn't they?
Power.
Another mythic rare.
To the
Mana
They
still
had
obeys
exactly
me here.
the right amount of mana to cast it.
my plan bears.
I haven't even seen
fruit.
anyone use this yet. This is the first time I've seen this card used from Foundations on me.
Work harder.
And I can't cast 2 spells because that came in tapped. No sign of this card the entire match. Not even what they had to discard. But yeah, exactly when they needed it to save themselves. Who am I kidding? We weren't going to hurt them, were we? Yeah, I was wondering why it was taking you so long. That's the obvious move. You knew you had it.
I am the master of this world.
My will is my own.
Your fate was sealed the moment this fight began.
32 cards left.
Heed my counsel. If my intervention the wise, heed my advice.
So what is that, 3 Ugins so far we've gone through?
Preparation
For them to beat me?
yields success. I grant you a boon.
There is no system
More
I
mythic
can't
rares.
improve.
Now Unstoppable Slasher comes in and gives them life. They're nearly back up to their full amount. They've got a backup Planeswalker,
All
My will is my own.
and they can destroy anything they want.
power belongs.
All too easy.
All
My will is my own. No metal escapes my will.
Are they going to go through their entire deck?
Everything you own.
They got
will
3
belong
demolition
to
fields
me.
out, so they can stop a lot of this other stuff.
Bow
Down to 6.
to your new overlord. Make yourself useful.
Yeah. Mythic rare, mythic rare, mythic rare, mythic rare. Evidently the deck that I've made is scary enough. That they had to engineer it so even an 8 mana spell, which does devastating things to their hand and their life and their board state, is not enough. They still had a board wipe just in case. Oh, they're not going to see
Soon
more of the cards?
you will grovel.
I just want to let this sink in on what kind of deck construction Arena pits us up against, my matchmaking rank cannot be that high. Because not only do I not win my 50%, because I get land starved all the time, especially if I start to go into ranked. I mean, I've had decks where I've had 30 land cards making up a 60 card deck, or maybe a 64 card deck, and I still get land starved sometimes. It's whenever things get out of hand, I get land starved. It's been the story of my life on this platform. But I'm also very experimental. I have a lot of experimental decks. They're not min-maxed. They're not net-decked from the meta. They're not analyzed to be, you know, the best cream of the crop that everybody else is playing. I just run around and put together decks with cards that haven't been used that much. This is not one of them. I think I've combined two different types of combo decks into one. So it's still something slightly different, but we've seen stuff like that before. But I experiment so much when I make a deck, and I also purposely try and minimize the amount of... Okay, see? Still in the game. They got a nice little card that gives value every single turn. Okay, we win if we get our 5th card. That's land. Untapped land. We got... They gave it to us. We're gonna win. They really can't attack. And now they can't gain life. And we've got it. Ba-boom! It doubled the life loss, so it also doubled the life gain. That's the way the deck is supposed to work. 5 turns, 5 land drops. Give me one of my combos. They had to give it to me eventually. It's beautiful when it happens. I think we're still like 3 and 4, right? Something like that. Why not? Let's bloody their nose. And ours at the same time. Make them nervous. Let's show them I'm already willing to sacrifice my own life. My own life points. Bam. A lifelinker, eh? Why am I not surprised that there's a lifelinker here? This is going to be a red-white deck only, right? Only 2 colors? Yeah. They don't even block me. And they don't even try to hang around. 50%. Ooh, I think I already have 4 of those. The online environment is going to be worse for us because they're going to unleash 7 sets this year. which means they're dumping hundreds of extra cards into the environment, but they didn't increase the rewards anywhere. So in the old days, meaning just a couple of years ago, they'd release enough product that if you got your wins every day and got your card rewards, you could do pretty good against trying to build a complete collection of each expansion. You could also usually earn enough gems to pay for the Mastery Pass. Can't do that anymore. They really changed the format of the quick drafts. The quick drafts, I get land starved so often it's not even worth me playing them anymore. So I don't really have a source, a way to get gems now. Before I got gems by winning quick drafts, I can't win quick drafts anymore. I'm just telling you right now, I can't do it. If I do happen to win 2 battles, I get land starved right after. It doesn't matter how much land I use. Doesn't matter if I change it into a 60 card deck with extra lands. It just, none of it matters. At some point, I lose because they don't give me enough land. That's half of my losses easily in ranked. Are we going to lose to Sheltered by Ghosts? It's another lifelink deck. Surprise, surprise. 2 Sheltered by Ghosts. I guess we can do this.
I light the path to victory.
Well, they don't have any cards, right? We'll do the other 2 of the spree. There's 2 of the flying guys, or 3, and then we go after that. We're not dead just yet, but it's not looking good. Too much life gain. I don't have my enchantment yet that prevents them from gaining life. And already, you know, not even 10 cards in,
From the heavens.
and they've already got 2 Sheltered by Ghosts. I don't have a creature in the graveyard yet. It is a good idea to get rid of the Fountain Port. I feel like it can attack. They can just make those flying every turn for 0. Standard stuff. Authority plus the Planeswalker. Not too complicated. We see it a lot. And I think I'm just dead. And you're kind of seeing the drawback of this deck construction. As I was saying earlier, I have less than 50%. Because I'm not only am I creating oddball decks, but also I'm purposefully minimizing the number of removal cards that I use. Normally, if I was left to my own devices, I would probably have at least a couple of board wipes in every single deck that I do. And so I lay off the board wipes from time to time, or I'll put in a couple of board wipes to minimize the single point removal cards that I'll have. And so, like, I only have like, if you want to count the spree cards, I've got like 7 or 8 removal cards in the entire deck, when you're supposed to have between 12 to 16 in this environment. But it's just because, you know, I fell in love with the theme, the idea of the deck, and I just wanted to have those cards that I wanted to have. And if you don't go up against, you know, like the white life gain decks with the Planeswalkers, you have pretty good odds of building up your creatures in time to counter what they're doing. Ooze decks. I think I'm already tired of ooze decks. I mean, they found another way. They could get a creature up to, like, make it a 16/16 with these, with the turtle synergies in just a couple of turns. But you have to wait for them to process all of them. It really slows the game down, so they made yet another mechanic that takes a really long time. And here they have a lot of colors. Untapped mana in a full hand of cards, and they didn't do anything against that. Okay. They're going to lose half, and then they're going to lose half. Round it up. You don't often see Grievous Wound applied with Unstoppable Slasher in the same deck, so it's kind of fun for me. If you've seen that somewhere else, let me know, because I have not seen... I've seen a couple of the different combos of cards, but I've never seen those put together. I thought it was kind of fun. It's fun for me when it happens. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's basically an instant win. So if my matchmaking rank, because I have more than 50% losses, because I'm purposely playtesting cards, playtesting decks that don't have enough removal all the time, and I'm slowly inching up the number of removal cards and taking out cards that I liked out of each of these decks until they are competitive. I didn't do that here. I just put in 4 removal cards for the artifacts, and then I put the spree cards in, but the spree cards were not really intended for removal. The spree cards were intended to make them lose half their life. So the fact that those have removal aspect to them is a little bit coincidental, actually. This is kind of like Kicker. You don't really save these. If you don't have the extra mana, you still cast them when you can. In the white-black combos, you can have single point removal, you can have board wipes, you can have the exiles, and you can have life gain. So they might have the perfect storm against you. But they're going to lose twice as much life with each hit if they can't get rid of the bloodletter. They throw away a land. Well, there's the life gain. I don't know why they would do that. Because it gave them the food? And that starts the chain. Bloodthirsty Conqueror with Starscape Cleric. And Bloodletter. I think that Bloodletter, that's only damage, right? No, it's lose life, so magnifies everything. Was that 2 wins in a row? No way. Life is good all of a sudden. Every now and then you get a hot streak. I don't know how much more I should keep going, just because I've already managed to demonstrate about 3 or 4 different ways the deck can work, and that was kind of my goal. Just this particular combination of cards, it gives you some nice options if you do have the ability to combine just a couple of cards. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the specific combo that you're used to. It can sort of branch off a tiny bit and go down a side street if you match up a couple of the other cards with each other. And I enjoy that. I just always find these... I always enjoy finding these slightly alternate use type of situations. Authority of the consoles again. We're coming up against the manlands every time, aren't we? Three turns, they don't miss their land drop, and they have all three colors. Let's just get rid of this now, shall we? Because I was going to miss my land drop next turn anyway, right? It should show you. I was not. I was going to get my next land? No way. Now I don't get my land. He's really put the crimp on my timeline caller. Split up, kind of predictable with Authority of the Consoles, is very common. Oh, I'm really not getting my lands back, am I? They've got another Restless Reef out already. Yeah, the deck doesn't do well against board wipes with Authority of the Consoles. This is a creature deck, pure and simple. I've packed... They're not going to give me another land. How much land did I lose? Hang on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16. Alright. Singularity Rupture plus Space-Time Anomaly. They got all they need to do. Yeah, this is just a plain straight 24 creatures. It's a creature deck. The creatures combo together to knock you out. I don't have any fancy tricks. I've got very small amounts of removal. If you wanted to try and avoid some of this stuff, you probably should take out a card here and there and put in more removal. But against a deck like that, I think we're pretty much helpless. If they make their land drops, they've got us beat. We get to go first. No way. It's dangerous to play mono black these days. There's a kindred card that's an artifact that can imitate a demon if they get the demon card out, and you don't have a way to deal with artifacts. Black is just dead in the water against that. Food gives them life gain already. And they've got white-black again. And there's lifelink. would do against them. I think this is fine. We're not quite as worried about a split up now. We've seen this once already. Popular enchantment class already, it looks like. We can block that. They'll still gain life. Let's do this to them, I guess. If we make them... No, I don't have enough for that. We'll just make them sacrifice half. This should get rid of Splinter. Get them under 20... No. Yeah, under 20 for a second. If they don't put down another creature, we've got our second Rush of the Dread. They got their 5th land. Are we going to get ours? They didn't put down a creature. Alright, we get rid of their lifelinker. They still gain life out of it. And they're still above 20 life points. Just need the one more land. Just need our 5th land. Can solve a lot of our problems. Create food token. Not getting the land. Okay, they went for the food token. That is to be expected at this point. Here's a nice little tutor card. Another board wipe. No, they just put a Momo back in. What else did you get? Very strange. We're gonna keep going. It's gonna be 8 points of damage. They just took it. Could have just been another board wipe, right? It doesn't make sense for them to attack necessarily. The suspense is killing me. I mean, usually when you tutor a card, it's with the intent to use the very next... They're gonna tutor again? What? You already tutored twice. What is going on here? I still can't make them discard. Alright. Sacrifice that creature. I don't understand. I don't know what happened there. You literally got to tutor twice for cards that you specifically wanted out of your entire deck to deal with the threats, and then you didn't use a single one of them. I think we'll leave it there. I call the deck half twice. You need to be prepared to face a ton of extra life gain if you're going to play this deck. Grievous Wound is almost mandatory just because, I mean, if you were thinking about taking Grievous Wound out and putting in 3 other removal cards, I don't think you can. You're going to face so much life gain against this You just need something to counterbalance that at some point. Alpha-Rail's kind of fun. I was thinking if I get more of him, I could maybe build a deck around him that's separate, that still does this idea of losing half the life, warping things in, maybe make a black-red deck with some haste type stuff involved. So maybe, you know, this one's kind of the newest entry in the losing half your life sweepstakes in terms of them designing cards with that feature to it. But I was looking for that theme within the environment for black cards. So, like I said, I just put in 4 Tithing Blades. The gain 1 life, the opponent loses life and gain 1 life fits in with some of this deck construction. So I thought it was very in keeping with the theme in terms of the removal. Same thing with Rush of Dread, because you've got that bottom one of losing half their life. So it's all still tying into the theme, even the removal cards. And I just really wanted to have Alpha Rail represented in there. Understandably, when you look at the way that the deck works, a lot of times you can get just completely smothered by other creatures if they've removed your stuff. So I do think that there's relatively few removal cards in here, and maybe you want to consider taking something else out. But you know what, overall, even despite the fact that it takes forever to get your 5th land in here, maybe you just want to go to 62 cards and put 26 lands in and call it a day. But I like the way this deck handles. This is I'm keeping it this way. I would be interested in your comments on what you would do differently if you wanted to make this more efficient. But I like the theme. I like the idea. And when it does pop off, it's just very, very quick. You're done. You're gone. You're out. So I'm just enjoying the overall way that it works. And I only have 1 copy of Marauding Blight Priest, you know, to really help out if I get a Bloodthirsty Conqueror out. So I don't feel that I went overboard on the clerics and the Blight Priests. This is normally what you would see if you were doing a, hey, we're gonna start the loop with the Conqueror. You would normally have 4 copies of Blight Priest, 4 copies of Starscape Cleric, you know, 4 copies of Enduring Tenacity, that kind of thing, and you just make the deck around that and call it a day. But I wanted to weave in this losing twice as much life theme along with that, because just having the losing twice as much and having that life loss circuit, life loss, life gain circuit, I really enjoy having those together. So, I mean, normal deck construction, you would have one or the other. This is a kind of mashup of them, and I just really like the way it turned out, even if it is only like a 50% win percentage. But as always, we ask you to like and subscribe. And again, if you want to talk about what you would do differently besides just splitting this into the regular, you know, 2 separate halves of the deck, if there's a way to salvage the idea and still make it better, what would you take out and what would you replace? Let me know, and we'll have something different for you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.